So, I'm going to be talking about why social media and specifically scrolling is bad for the human brain from a neurologically informed perspective as someone who has dealt with severe neurological challenges, not as a doctor. So, when you go through a crisis where your brain is injured, like I survived actual brain injury, in some ways, the same feeling that you get from satisfying your scrolling addiction by scrolling is a similar feeling to having a brain injury. This is a challenging topic because I have so much evidence that specifically scrolling is extremely unhealthy for the brain, but I also don't know how to describe it in words. So, having gone through severe, not only psychiatric and psychological, but neurological crises before scrolling was invented, before TikTok came out, before Instagram really caught on, I went through all of it before that. The level of disempowerment neurologically and psychologically, the mental disempowerment that I experienced in the hospital and in the psych wards literally reminds me of the feeling of scrolling. The feeling of getting indoctrinated because of an app mimics severe psych and neurological problems. Like, I had to learn how to read again after a catatonic coma due to psychological and neurological issues. And the way that rebuilding those synapses, that renewing my own brain feels like the opposite of scrolling now, present day 2024, a decade after I've recovered, tells me that being on our phone is significantly more neurologically and mentally and emotionally and psychologically damaging than we think it is. I know what I'm saying sounds repetitive, but I'm trying to say it in different ways so it makes sense. Having been through what I went through, the feeling of literally not only being online, but turning over my cognitive processes to what I'm seeing online, again, mimics deep psych issues. It mimics the brain actually naturally going crazy. In some ways, it feels like people are catching up to what I already went through because people are getting so indoctrinated and so controlled by what they're seeing online. Also, another similarity between severe psychiatric disability and scrolling, before scrolling, and actually the feeling of scrolling, losing time. So when I was in the hospital, I was losing time from my life. Like, I missed a lot of my early 20s simply because I was in recovery neurologically. I didn't get to do regular stuff. I didn't get to go out and have physical experiences. I was locked in a hospital. I was locked in treatment, or at different times I was just at home watching TV because my brain wasn't functioning, right? That feeling feels so similar to being stuck scrolling on a phone in an addictive way. The reason I feel like it's scrolling specifically is when I'm searching things or when I'm clicking on things, it doesn't feel the same. There's something about specifically scrolling that mimics a loss of cognitive agency and autonomy. That's another point. The loss of power, just being like, my brain's not my own. That's the same with scrolling. My brain's not my own. It's whatever I see online. It's whatever my delusions or hallucinations are telling me. It's whatever these psych meds are telling me. It's whatever, which I still take mine. I'm very thankful for my psych meds. It's whatever, I can't do anything because I'm locked up in a hospital. I don't have a choice. The lack of choice in scrolling, specifically because when you're going to the next thing and the algorithm is what chooses what your next thing is, that's what's toxic. That's what's neurotoxic, in my opinion. I think we're going to see in the future people having severe cognitive and neurological reactions to scrolling. I think we're losing our lifespans to the phone. Again, specifically scrolling. I think another part of so this is something I learned as a survivor of severe neurological problems. I think another part of phones that's really tricky and really misleading is we think we're going to use it to talk to loved ones, and then we end up scrolling. So that's another piece to me that is under discussed is I picked up my phone because I want to connect, not because I want to scroll, but I end up scrolling. That's another under talked about thing. The ways the ways that the loss of choice in our behavior, in our thought patterns, in our how we spend our time, the ways that the loss of choice and agency and autonomy mimics what happened to me by being locked up in the psych ward with a severe neurological problem, medical problem. That's how scrolling feels. Like, that is how scrolling feels. I could go on and on. I think I am going to stop this video and just leave it at a cool 7 minutes. I'll just do some closing thoughts. If you every time you don't have to be perfect. Every time you tell yourself I'm going to scroll less today, or even if you say when I'm on my computer and my phone, I'm going to like choose what I watch, I'm just not going to use the scrolling mechanism. That's a win. Even if it's one time in a week, even if it's just an extra hour of freedom in real life that you literally 5 minutes off your phone is 5 minutes of your life that you get back. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do everything at once. So give yourself credit, do your best. Remember the severe, like, we haven't even seen the beginnings of the effects of what this does to the brain. Trust yourself, trust the process of living, of finding your life again. And as the survivor of severe neurological psychiatric disability, I just wanted to let you guys know some of the parallels I noticed between what I went through and scrolling. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this helps you. And remember, awareness is the first step to any positive change. So just knowing about it is already taking a step. Don't feel overwhelmed. You don't have to feel overwhelmed. Just let yourself flow to a better state. And once we get annoyed enough, it will change. So don't worry too much. You got this. I'm proud of you.